Sila or ethics is the second paramis on the list of 10. Paramis are qualities of the heart and mind that are cultivated in order to reach liberation and awakening. Sila is emphasized along with dana as two important qualities to be explored and cultivated. Unfortunately, these teachings are not always emphasized here in the West, but the Buddha felt that Sila, along with Panya, wisdom, and Samadhi, concentration, comprise the base foundation of one's spiritual practice and cannot be bypassed. For lay people, there is what is referred to as the 5 precepts. These are guiding principles for practice and contemplation of our innermost values and to decide how to live our lives harmoniously and in concert with other living sentient beings in the world. They're not meant to be regarded as commandments or rules. The beauty of how the Buddha offered these precepts to lay people is that they are meant to be reflected on in relationship to one's life and then revisited every couple of years and even contemplated upon with one's partner to assure that both are on the same page. I will name each precept and with brief examples to think about. They need to be thought of as a collection of contemplations on harmlessness. This is the umbrella under which the 5 precepts for lay people fall. So the first is harmlessness, or refraining from harming sentient beings. In other words, no killing. So what we can contemplate here is, what do we do around unwanted insects or small animals in the house? For example, ants that come in and into our homes every now and then in search of water. One of the things I do when this happens is I try to brush them into a paper bag and then take them outside and just shake them out of the bag and put a little sugar in the garden so that perhaps they will just stay with the sugar instead of coming into the house. The second precept is refraining from taking what is not offered. In other words, no stealing. So an example is, in a hotel room, it's not perfectly clear if one is allowed to take all the soaps, shampoos, lotions, or even the hotel pens, because these are not being explicitly offered. Or another brief example is in a roommate situation and one has run out of toothpaste. Is it okay to just borrow toothpaste from one's roommate if the roommate isn't there to ask? And then the third is refraining from committing sexual misconduct, which is pretty self-explanatory. And this is about not being unskillful in relations with others, especially if in a committed relationship. When I first heard this precept, I realized in a big way how much it is all about non-harming and respect for one's commitment in relationship with another, and it felt very true and authentic for me. The fourth precept is refraining from false speech. In other words, no lying. As much as possible, being as truthful as one is able in various situations, reflecting on any gray areas around truth-telling. And this actually can be quite a challenging precept. And so the example I always like to give is during World War II, a Nazi knocks on the door and asks if the person is harboring any Jews, and we are. So do we tell the truth or lie in order to save their lives? So that's a big question to think about that could be considered to be a gray area as far as refraining from false speech. And then the last precept is refraining from intoxicants such as drugs, alcohol, and caffeine. With increased mindfulness practice, we can actually observe the effects of these intoxicants on our behavior towards others and on others towards everyone else. And my example for this one is coffee, which I never would have thought would be considered to be an intoxicant. But when I stopped drinking coffee, I was much less angry, much less prone to talking really fast and not listening to what the other person had to say. So I recognized that it was kind of like speed, you know. So that was very eye-opening for me. So these are some examples that have been challenging to contemplate in my own life to arrive at what fits well for the values that I aspire to. I hope that these offerings will stimulate much provocative contemplation for all of you. Thank you.